what's taking place now. You know, Bush keep talking about that war and evil. He's not talking about Afghanistan.
No.
He's talking about the spiritual war that's happening with the physical and the spiritual right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he keeps saying evil, 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 evil. You know, I ain't never heard nobody talk about evil this much. The damn preachers don't talk about evil that much.
And see, most people don't understand it.
But and we so scared to ask questions. You know, the church got us scared to ask questions and to doubt. We think God is up when we thinking the wrong way. God see that, you know. So.
And that's some bullshit anyway. Folks.
It is.
If you a woman, you sitting up here talking about he gonna bless me, he gonna do this. You crazy as hell.
Yep.
Right.
You already done gave your whole feminine energy over to some other motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
And everything starts with y'all. We only strong as you all are. And when you all get this, it's over.
It is. You know what? And I was checking out how they, in the movie, she had to get rid of her king first. She gonna suck the life off of her king.
Queen of the Damned?
Yeah, and then give it over to the white
boy, and who betrayed her.
Right. And that's what they're doing in the world right now, where sisters don't have no man. And it's not because the man is not there, because he's there. Remember, her husband was there, but he was silent. He was still. And we have men, but they're not the willful, functioning men that we think we're looking for. Because if they go through the school system, that is killed out of them. And they are made passive. So all these passive men see black women as a threat. That's why they more easily to go to white women.
Right.
Because she can deal with that passive nature. You know, he can see eye to eye with her. Where we gonna see problems with the world. And brothers are so scared to deal with what they may have to do. The protection of the women, especially the younger ones. Older men kind of understand that a little bit more, but damn, they done spent all their years defending. Right. It's time for these young brothers to do something, because I can't be all, but I will be. And see, that's the thing that sisters do. We can't be all, we're tired of being all. And when she was burning folk up, I feel like that sometimes. I feel like if my eyes could burn up some situations I done seen, I might be the only one walking around. Me and my children. You know, because I get so angry about my condition and my sister's condition and my brother's condition. And it seemed like, am I the only one worried about this? Then I had another guy that he was a friend, and why are you worried about that? You're not like the other sisters. It'd be different if you was unattractive, but you ain't unattractive. Why you feel
so
like,
if you ugly, you could be fucked up?
Yeah. That's what he said. That's what he was saying. He was saying that in so many words. Like, well, Erica, you don't even have that problem. I'm sure you don't have no man problem. Why are you angry with white and what's going on in the world? It looks like you taking other people's problems and you're the one worrying about it. And I was like, well, I am. I have a daughter. I have a son. So I'm thinking about what will they have? What will my daughter have to go to except a white man? And see, that's what they wanted to be. White men now want to be in the place where black women will choose them. You know, and that's where it's going. They never wanted their women. We got to go back to the root. They didn't want her from the beginning. Remember, they was discovering other things but her. Of course. That's how I got here. So.
You working out, Sister Erica, because we definitely need more sisters out there dropping the bombs, and you got it.
How long you been studying, Erica?
For about 10 years, since I was 25. It started with Dr. Yosef Ben Yohana, then it started with Dr. Jim James, and I was inspired by a friend of mine by the name of Psychic to study more about myself. And the more I did, the more I wanted to change certain things about myself. And the more I was inspired to study more, and the more I studied, it seemed like I felt like it was something missing. And then I got to the point where all that Black history studies just wasn't doing it no more. I felt like I knew everything on the shelf already, and I had books I hadn't even cracked. But I felt like I knew it. And I felt like it's something else to go to. It's something more. And it is something more. And I think with them trying to stop the sun from shining, it's going to ignite something within us. You know, if it shines and it shines off season, say it shines for 6 months straight. It's been thousands of years since we've been in a time where it was one climate all the time. That's during the time when our history and our knowledge was flourishing, and our consciousness was at its peak when it was warm all the time. And they're scared of that. That's why we are in the wheel of season. And see, the sun is trying to break us out of that wheel of season. That's why they're doing all that chemtrail spraying. Look at it today. The sun is still shining through all of that, and that makes me so angry to see that, and then other people don't understand what's happening. You know, if I tell people, they'll think I'm crazy. And they've been creating weather since Vietnam.
Your heart's broken.
But so many people still don't know it, Eric.
Yeah.
So many
It bothers me.
people.
I'm sick of being a Winston. You can't talk to anybody. I don't know about that mess, man. I don't know about, you know, I mean, seriously, you know, it's just frustrating. I mean, I know I can't say, you know, I can't compare everybody to conscious still. You know, it's just frustrating trying, you know.
You can't
Just
really.
daily,
It's
I
the
mean-
type of thing where you can discuss it if they're open, but you can't. You know,
Yeah.
you can tell if a person's not ready, they're not ready, and it's not anything
Yeah, I
you can
know.
do to make them ready. It's just something that they have to. Because I remember, my sister has been into this for years. I mean, like she said, 10 years, and I've always been around her, and it never affected me one way or another. Even though she was right there in my family, and she was talking about this stuff, telling me about it. But it just never fazed me one way or another. And then just one day, it just felt like I needed to know more, and that's when I started seeking, and she started giving me books. But it wasn't anything she said or anybody else could say to me. It's something that just, it happened inside of me, and I felt like something woke up, and I felt like I needed to know. That's why you can't, when other people are around, you want to share it with them, but you just can't because it's like you were talking to somebody another language. Yeah.
Can I suggest one thing, please? I think if you spread the news anyway, although,
Anyway.
you follow what I'm saying?
So
And it's going to help. It might take a while for them to wake up.
Well, I think what it is what it is we missing the point because we're looking for numbers. And that's where we trained in this society. And in this society, generally, we look for numbers. Because the Christian church trained us to go for converts. And so it's not that you talk and stuff, but look for the quality of the ones and the twos. You see, that's more important. One or two people. It doesn't matter about, I mean, if you got a whole city and you get 4 or 5 people in a house with the same mind and stuff, man, that's some energy. You know what I'm saying? Because the other thing is just basically going to be a spectators type level. Too many people are not going to have the same ideas and stuff like that. And we're not saying that we all should, but I'm trying to say here, what I'm talking about on this level, it cannot be this mass appeal like we think it is. You see what I'm saying? I like to think of this. People are generally animals. That's what Akasha was trying to say. The hell with them because they don't know.
That's right.
On the movie today. She was like, oh, the hell, I kill all of them because they don't know. Ultimately, they don't know, and basically, they don't want to know. And people are generally animal in the aspect that we never get off the survival level. And why is that? No, because it said even the earth told her there wasn't supposed to be that many people on the earth. Even when we had these ancient civilizations, you looking like you got China. These people unscrewed so much until their breast is emaciated. You hardly find even something like the human breast and no behind. And even the penises, they said that the penises are almost like this. That's because you got 1 billion people in Red China alone. So obviously they have depleted their genetic pool down to just, where even the government had to step in and say, if you have more than 3 kids, you're going to jail. So you're just talking about literally on the level of roaches. You see what I'm saying? And so even if you say you would get a certain amount of people up to a certain standard, you understand what I'm saying? If you still having problems, it's just like Maynard Jackson when he was mayor down in Atlanta. He said he used to get he gets something like 1,000 jobs. And he announced, Monday morning, I'm gonna give black people 1,000 jobs. These black people would get on the phone to their people, and people would come overnight. He said, no, he'd have to sneak it. He said, look, I'm going to give 1,000 jobs away in the morning. These black people would go home, at 6 o'clock. Call people from around the country. Even if these people had to give $1,000 just to get here or get on a bus, he said when he wake up the next morning, they'd had an unemployment problem because that many people would have come in overnight. He said they have people coming as far as from doggone California, you see, just to get them jobs. And so that he said the next morning, by the end of 6 o'clock the next day, they got the same unemployment problem because that many people moved in. So we talking about filling up a bucket with a hole in it. Then it means ultimately, just like any other major religion say, you must destroy this thing. And that's what this whole thing is about. And basically, you can't find no religion or nothing, no spiritual thing that ultimately they talk about something has to be overhauled. Humanity has to redo itself. So, you know, has to redo itself. So when you talk about that now, you really, you know. But my point here is right now is in the Gospel of Thomas. Is that thing on?
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
The Gospel of Thomas said that when your eyes open, you will be troubled. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
You want to get started?
Yeah, well, let's just...
I mean, do the introduction. We can go ahead and roll.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. What is it? Something to 5?
You ready?
Yeah,
We're going
naturally. They're going to start getting here around that time.
You know how niggas are.
Yeah.
Ready? Cool. All right, once again, we're back. Welcome once again. People here from Virginia, people coming all over. We're loving this, you know. Y'all coming from Mississippi, Greensboro. Yeah. You know, we got people coming from South Carolina. So it's all good. And Sister Erica, I mean that though. For real, we need you. We need more sisters to be dropping the sign. So proud of that. And you know that's gonna be on the tape, so people gonna see it when they go all around the country. They're gonna see who's that sister. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put that on the conversation y'all said, I'm gonna put that on the CD, volume 12, at the beginning. A conversation of the sister. See, that's powerful, you know, so I appreciate that. And that's spiritual too. You know, especially after watching your girl, Aaliyah. That shit was bad. But anyway, welcome again, Brother Bobby Hemmitt. Last night was off the hook. I think everybody thoroughly enjoyed that. It was revitalizing. It was incredible. We had a good time. Now, at the break, after we take our break, we got some food back there for you, of course, so you don't have to worry about going anywhere. You know, my family's red beans and rice that I put my foot in. You know, so it's always good. You know, so we'll educate you on that later on when we come to the break. Of course, we got latest videos back there. Make sure you sign in, write your complete address so I can get in touch with you. We got the bumping CDs back there, and we got it going on up in here. So, without any further ado,
No, I didn't get it. This is yours.
yeah, I know you. Okay, cool. Brother Bobby Hemmitt.
Yeah. We want to pour libations to the entities. I want to make a comment on this. You know Brother Walter Williams' book, The Historical Origins of Christianity, which is groundbreaking. Several books that basically put the foot, that really try to give people a greater one. We'll give some of those, list of those ones like Man, God, and Civilization, John G. Jackson. Christianity Before Christ, John G. Jackson. Mother of Major Western Africa, Mother of Major Western Religions, Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinen. The Moses Mystery, Gary Greenberg, Moses and Monotheism. Sigmund Freud. Moses, Pharaoh of Egypt by Ahmed Osman. But even most people, that they would hit a historical side and go, well, you know, that's all well and fine, but they don't necessarily prove that my Bible came from that. You know, because you're gonna try to squirm and get out of it any kind of way you want to. Because unfortunately, too much is wrapped up. You have to give up too much when you come out of a particular system. You got to give up a whole lot of friends. You know, there's one guy here that wrote the book Urban Voodoo. He said, well, man, what was it that made me stay in the church that long? He said, basically because I had an extended community and everybody wants to belong, even down to the gang member. They said, well, what made you get a gun and go and shoot somebody over some colors? But they said that these people, these were my brothers and my family when I didn't have no family. So therefore, based on, when you're talking this kind of thing here, any type of information, like they said, conscious information or anything where you have to come out of a regular system. The general system is a lonely journey. So basically, this is why you have people that basically, don't want to get rid of their belief system because their whole social paradigm has to change. The whole social phenomenon, the plateau has to change. You know, it's just like one of my friends, he used to be a drunk. You know, but he didn't used to be no drunk, he used to just drink a lot. He was one of the people that could drink a person under the table and it don't affect him. And the reason why it didn't affect him, because he could just quit. He's one of those people that he just could just quit because he said, I never like nothing to control me. So basically, by him not being the drunk, he could just go and say, he's like, I'm tired of this, and just quit. Cold turkey, one of those type of people. And all, you know what I'm saying? And I have that ability, if I want to just always could just quit. A lot of times, somebody will say, damn man, you don't eat that no more. I just said, like I said, man, you used to drink that wine and stuff like that. What happened? I said, oh, I forgot. I said, a month came by and I just forgot. I forgot to drink it. Then I looked up and said, damn, I ain't had none of this in a couple of months. So you have people like that don't have an addictive nature. But this brother said, whenever he decided to stop, he said, you know, when he went back to the bar to hang out with the brothers, he said, I'm still in your bars, I'm just not drinking. They were like, what, you think you better than us? And basically, he had to get a whole new group of friends because they were not going to allow that because their whole life was based on the social aspect of the drinking. You see what I'm saying? And he said, you know, he became a vegetarian overnight and his own wife felt alienated because that eating was a social pattern. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, we talking about down here, you got to have some kind of vices. You see what I'm saying? You got to have some type of vice. Fortunately, people gravitate towards groups and stuff to get those particular people in that social arena. So therefore, the preacher or whatever, even the people in the church, they're not going to change because the social arena is also too. They're making money. So ultimately, they don't even believe in nothing. Because if black people really believed in what they're supposed to believe in, you understand what I'm saying? You wouldn't have a people praying on you all the time. Let me give you an example. We still hear black men going to jail. So much until it don't hold no water no more. This shit done got tired. You know, so motherfuckers like, look, fuck that. I don't want to hear nothing about no nigga in no jailhouse. Now I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. Let me give you an example. If it was a doggone, them Jews, and the Jews would have looked up and said, hey, guess what? There's a pattern here where the doggone government and the cities are locking up our youth. I'm talking about the European Jews. In 10 years, they would have developed a counterculture. Don't go to jail. It is anti-Jewish to go to jail. You understand what I'm saying? Just like they develop a counterculture of anti-Semitism. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just like we develop a counterculture of anti-stereotypes. You understand what I'm saying? So, if you know, or see, this is just a basic human survival. If you know a people is basically sending your ass to jail, then out of 10 years, you should have developed a counterculture that basically you don't go to jail just for the simple fact you are black and you're a black man. You see what I'm saying? So you're talking about a people that's reduced to a level of savagery because the simple fact that we don't even deal with the basic survival skills. So now it don't hold no water for no conscious person. Our brothers and sisters in jail. No, fuck them niggas in the damn jailhouse. You see what I'm saying? Because what you're dealing with here, you're dealing with something, you're putting water in a bucket, and there's a hole in the bottom of the bucket. And so therefore we never get off one plateau. And that's why our particular system don't, it's year after year after year. But nobody never thought about that. Now when they had three plane crashes in 1984. And even right here, Charlotte is the hub to USA. And they had a damn wreck in Charlotte in the hub. But they got together in the following year and they say 0 plane crashes. You see what I'm saying? And basically, but who can stop that? No, you mean to tell me this white man, he's saying an accident is, for the definition of the word, it's an accident. It's nothing that's intended. But they're saying, based on what we know we're capable of doing, we're going to say 0 accidents. You see what I'm saying? Now, if they can do that, and knowing that basically, ultimately, they can't stop that. But it's interesting because they did, because the only planes that fell out of the sky in the 1990s, after 1994, they blew them up. They blew up Value Jet, they blew up TWA. You see what I'm saying? And there's one that has some aid specialists, that Egyptian Air or something that blew up or something. The point I'm trying to make here is, that's a counterculture. You see what I'm saying? That's a doggone counterculture. So on the other hand, going back, we can do things, going back to, we do things basically because of the social aspect of things. So nobody, it's not generally because black people generally want to know that their Bible is virtually a lie. You see what I'm saying? They don't want to know that. But I put that out there for this here because, so we're not giving bibliography to somehow try to convince a bunch of people. You know, a bunch of people. Let me give you an example. I know people, because their children went to jail, they would rather see your children in jail, because misery loves company, and also if they can raise themselves up to know that somebody else is in trouble. So generally when you're talking about human life, especially in Western culture, it is really worthless. It's not worth a damn thing. It's basically competition and survival. And it never gets off the survival level. Now the entire world is that way now. I'll give you an example. I was talking to a sister from Ethiopia. And she said, well, all that you're saying, Bobby, is fine to know my history. She said, but fortunately, I had a black father in the United States, and my mama was Ethiopian. So I'm accepting this because of the simple fact, I come out of a family of struggle based on the part from the United States half. But like she said, if my whole family had come from Ethiopia, because I've been Ethiopian and I already know what they're dealing with, I pretty much wouldn't be in this. And she said, because you got to understand. I said, okay, well, give me the synopsis of how the people think. And she made a good point. She said, I go all over Africa. And she said, the people, their whole life consists of surviving. You know, we get up, we go to a supermarket, and we go and buy what we want. The process of how it got there, we don't give a damn, because it's already there for us. So it frees us up in America that we don't have to worry about that. Whereas these people, the process, because they don't eat processed food, a lot of that, their whole thing is they got to go and get, even if they do find some meat, a lot of times it's live. You see what I'm saying? Even if they find vegetables. So the whole so the entire concept of even eating each day is a complete journey from where they got to go to get the food to the time they get it to the table. So these people never get off the survival level. They're in survival mode at all times. So the intellectual faculties to even ponder freedom, you see what I'm saying, is not even a part of their own cultural outlook. So she was like, these people, you know, their whole thing, what we take for granted as far as water, you know what I'm saying? And different things that we do, it frees us up. That's why Dick Gregory said, the people who run the world don't work at all. You see, they don't work at all. You see what I'm saying? And so when they said, I tell them, I said, well, you know, the people said, what you do now, man? You know, I say, basically, man, I roll out the damn bed and think of what I'm going to do. I do absolutely, positively nothing. But why? It gives my mind time to think, if I want to think. I still have the freedom to think. You see? That's the difference. These people, those particular people that run the world don't work at all. So they can ponder this and ponder that. Some people ask me, you know, well, I said, well, you know, we sit in a house in college Me and some other brothers in a house in college in 1990. You know, this was my college career days, because, you know, I entered in 80 and stayed around till like 92 and 93. You know, so I was always affiliated with the college, but and stuff. But we used to sit around in the house and just talk about how we getting out of this, or how we gonna help black people get out of this. But then again, on the other hand, we had the freedom to do that because we were students. You see what I'm saying? Because we were students, so we were not on lockdown on the survival mode. You see what I'm saying? Same thing with the brothers and sisters in the projects. You see, they're never outside of the survival mode. And when you think about it, most black upper mobile people, 98% when you go around the ones and stuff, because I tread all the different societal aspects and stuff because I'm a part of all that. But you go around the brothers and sisters in college, 98% of what they talk, oh, my zipper. No, it's not. It's closed. It's zipped. Oh, don't scare me like that. No, it's zipped. It was just, that particular part was just open, Oh, it's zipped. You just saw the zipper and thought it was okay. Now,
I'm just trying to help you. I know how it is.
yeah, yeah, because, in Detroit one time, I'm just talking for about 30 minutes, and people just looking like that and all. But anyway, most of the people are upper mobile, they're 98% of what they spend their time on is their occupation. And that's what the conversation is about. You know what I'm saying? And also, we don't get off of that survival mode. You see, so that's a form of slavery right there. You see, that's a form of slavery right there and all. So now getting back to this, even if you had some people that say, well, I really, even out the fear, well, if I'm going to go and ponder something other than what I was brought up with, the Christianity or whatever, if I'm going to ponder something, then I need to make the comparison. So some people, you give them the whole historical thing and they go, okay, but that don't necessarily mean that my Bible was written from those historical, that historical paradigm or that historical era. So they still think that this shit is unique. You see what I'm saying? And so there was a historical part where we told them, all that stuff is not the fragments that came out of the ancient mystery system and all of that. Now it's interesting here, because this is the white boy, Gary Greenberg, the same one that wrote the Moses Mystery. He wrote this book called 101 Myths of the Bible. 101 Myths out of the Bible. Now what this thing is doing, this will put anybody on lockdown in the aspect that they can't hide, because the simple fact is, he's done the comparison and showing you where the scriptures came from in Hemmitt. So this book here just came out in 2000, 101 Myths of the Bible. He's actually did the comparison, how ancient scriptures invented biblical history. So how ancient scriptures, but he says these ancient scriptures came from Egypt. You see what I'm saying? And it says this, in this startling book, Gary Greenberg exposes the reality behind the greatest story ever told. Learn about the Egyptian myths and ancient folklore that survived one of history's most sacred texts, and discover how it survived in one of history's most sacred texts, talking about the Bible. And in so many words, he's saying that these Egyptian myths and mysteries, basically, he's showing the comparison. You see, so even if you had some particular person that's a person that just still wants to believe their Bible is some exclusive thing, he's showing in this particular book 101 Myths of the Bible by Gary Greenberg. He also wrote a book called The Moses Mystery, and he has been castigated, ostracized by the whole Jewish and scholarly community. Why? Because you must understand this. And what's the name talks about this? Walter Williams. Walter Williams talks about this. And that is that you have these Jews have a literal secret society. Now what's happening here is, this secret society, I'm going to pull libation in a minute, but you got to understand what's going on here. Darrell Rice said that there was bookstores in Indianapolis. Every time they would put out the books on the historical origins of the Jews, African origins of the Jews, of the Hebrews, which is black people, these white Jews would come in and buy up all the books. You see what I'm saying? So their society is based on one thing, and that is to cover up and to some type of way historically relegate themselves into this people that they're not. They isn't really. We're talking about the fake Jews. Now, why is this so important? Because the Europeans, so somehow this is just the way they think. They say that they believe that if they're going to survive in the future, because all the mythology talks about it, the original people are the ones that all this stuff is talking about. So they believe somehow in their mind that if they're going to survive, they got to have one sacred people. One sacred people, one sacred priesthood, and one sacred secret society. And so the entire European world, spite with all of the Catholic and Protestant and all those type of things, they have deemed the Hebrews in Israel as their elite group of people that they call their chosen people. And this is a Christian consensus as well as anything. Now, the Christians might talk about all this stuff, and those people, now the Christians tell you, those people who don't believe in Jesus is going to hell. But you don't have no Christian preacher that is not upholding Israel as the paradigm and the model that is supposed to catapult the world into the paradise. So, this phenomenon, that is their particular, the European races, secret society. And they will stop at nothing to make sure that these particular people, make sure that these particular people, number one, that they are invented, they are an invention, or they will stop at nothing, you see what I'm saying, when it comes to these particular people are going to have to be their particular priesthood, what I'm trying to get at. To give you an example, even with the 9/11 thing, with the World Trade Center. Now, 2 weeks before that, as you know, they were calling for Israel being a racist state at this World Racism Conference, which America pulled out of. And 2 weeks later, the same Palestinians and the Arabs that they were saying that was doggone being plagued upon ended up being, they flipped the script, and these particular people ended up being the satanic people. You see what I'm saying? So all of this stuff, whenever they make a hit, it's multidimensional. Whenever they make this particular hit, it's multidimensional. But they're still trying to put Israel as this particular group of people that is supposed to be their people, that's a secret society. Now, this is interesting too. When they had the whole Queen, they had two specials on the Queen of England last 2 weeks ago. One of them, they say, look, this is very serious. If the people don't believe in royalty, someone has to believe in royalty. We have to believe in royalty. So, even if the people don't believe, we got to make sure that these particular, the Queen and the King, do exactly what is needed to, in the royal procession or whatever they're going to do. It's got to be almost picture perfect. Now, I'm looking at this thing and saying, well, why are they saying they have to believe in royalty? If it's a fake, what difference does it make? But then again, on the other hand, what they're saying is this is the only thing that they got to go by them being a people that literally wrote themselves into history. So it's the same thing with the whole so-called Israelis. The white Jews making themselves this particular part of trying to make themselves authentic. It has nothing to do with the original historical Hebrew whatsoever. So as a result, this is a doggone Jew. That's the head of the Biblical Archaeological Society. He's head of, he's behind several academic groups, archaeological societies, and this guy here has top letters. But yet all of a sudden he's reduced down to some type of pseudo scholar. You see. And that is because he's going up against a secret society. And that particular secret society, the entire aspect of the world is to somehow, and this is just the sick thinking of them, somehow bargain their way into the doggone hereafter. You see what I'm saying? Now, it doesn't have anything to do with reality. Reality is the only people going to be in the hereafter is born in the hereafter, which means it's a biological thing. And it has nothing to do with behavior whatsoever. The hereafter is inside of you. You see what I'm saying? The hereafter is your soul, which comprises of its own universe, which is one with that new universe that's coming into order. And if you're not born with it, there is no way that you can relegate or bargain your way in or lie your way in. But that's not going to stop them. As far as they're concerned, these particular people are the head of the race. The Pope sanctions them, and everybody sanctions this particular aspect in Israel. You see what I'm saying? This particular aspect in Israel, which has nothing to do with anything sacred whatsoever. You see what I'm saying? Whatsoever. But this is a major secret society, so this is very key on how this particular thing is going down. And when they get through with the Islam, you see what I'm saying? Then it won't be nothing but them. And this is what all the other Europeans are looking to. They're looking to these head people in so-called Israel. And as far as they're concerned, it's just, I mean, it's crazy, but it's just the way things are. That's just the way they think. This is the way they rationalize things. So it's the same thing when they say, we have to believe in the queen. If we don't believe in the queen, we're nothing. But then again, on the other hand, they're saying that they got to believe in the queen or they got to believe in doggone Israel for world conquest. You see what I'm saying? They got to believe that they are divinely guided by destiny to doggone fuck up everybody's lives. You see what I'm saying? And as far as you best believe, now don't get nobody wrong with this thing. If these Jews are slated, I'm talking about the white European Israelis, are slated to be God's chosen people, and they are false. That means there's got to be one people that they are worried about. And they know that historically there's only one people that's slated for that. Number one, the original people. But even when you talk about the messianic journey, or the actual, going by the actual scripture, the only people that were basically taken into bondage and literally torn apart to the point whereas, you know, even the Jews got something called European Jews got a thing, Jewish self-hatred. Come on, you people rule the damn world. What the hell is about self-hatred? You see, so they're even looking at the pathology of black people and trying to put it on them so that they can somehow fake themselves into the scriptures. You see, so we know that whole Hitler thing was all a divine plan with Hitler, the heads of the Jewish states and stuff, to give up a certain part of the Jews in Germany to go through this so that they can somehow falsify the book of Psalms and other scriptures of these people going through a horrible treatment, which in actuality it was us. So it's actually somebody, again, that's a stolen legacy. So it's just like even what your boy said, had enough sense to say, Johnny Cochran, when this whole thing went down with O.J. Simpson, he said the Jews ain't cornered no market on suffering. You know what I'm saying? So if they know that they are fake, that means they're only worried about one people on the planet, and that's us. You see what I'm saying? That's us. Now, going based on the scriptures, they talk about, which is their highest stuff, the Kabbalah, is they say that there's a group of people that will be taken. They got these different tribes in Africa. And this group of people will be taken out of Africa and supplanted someplace else. And there will be a great mixing bowl. Which means, in actuality, slavery did just that. We came over here as black people and they just mixed us all together, although we were different phenotypes, different languages and different cultures in Africa, because Africa is a continent. So a continent is not just one stock of people. But they mixed everything that they could get together, from Ethiopian to doggone Hebrews, to the Yoruba, the Igbo, the Hausa, and all of that. And we have that coursing through our veins. So the great mixing bowl that they talk about in the Kabbalah, That went on in history when it came to us, and they know it. And one of the other parts it says in the Kabbalah that in the last days, the entire world will come against Israel. Now we know damn well they ain't talking about the Israel over there. Because that old Israel over there, you understand what I'm saying, is the doggone oppressor around the fucking globe. You see what I'm saying? So when they were talking about that Israel, they were talking about us, and the white Jews know it. So as far as they're concerned, it's still business as usual. So 9/11 is still about us. You see what I'm saying? It's still about us. You hear this story about you hear this story about the people in some of the people that was on the so-called terrorists that blew up the plane. Some of these terrorists that they were showing the pictures that's coming up doggone living. You heard this shit here? One guy died in 1995. Two people, one guy sitting in his house, and they got his picture up there as a guy died in the airplane as a terrorist. Two of them coming out living. So they were just basically showing pictures. But let me tell you something. This whole Jew thing here, see this whole thing is real key. Let me give you an example. The Steve Harvey show. Now the Steve Harvey show, so they'll give you one dumb white boy. You got Bullet Head. Dumb white boy. And then you got your other boy, Romeo, which is stupid, as dumb as a fucking stump. You see what I'm saying? His stupid ignorant ass. So they get Bullet Head, and you got Romeo. Stupid as ignorant as hell. Jeffro Bodine lover. Now. And everybody else in the school is basically stupid. You know what I'm saying? Alice Jenkins and all that old crazy shit. So they got them all fools all on the faculty. Now, this is the key. But yet, the smartest people in the school is the doggone white Jew, Lydia Gutman. Yeah. Right? And every now and then they got a walk-on appearance with her boyfriend, another Jew. And both of them supposed to be brilliant. You know, they had a lot of other students on that first, but after a while they just got to down the Bullet Head and the other Romeo. But the thing about it is, and Romeo just got ignorant. Only thing he does is call basically black women chicken heads. So now he don't even refer to women as women anymore. He refer to them as chicken heads. And here is doggone your boy, Steve Harvey, allowing this shit. You see, because he called them chicken heads in front of Steve Harvey. But yet it's interesting that the only smart person in the school is two Jews. And that ain't by design, you see. But we accept it because we automatically think that. You see? We automatically think that. So it's interesting, you know, these people are just like anybody else. They got mentally retarded people. They got real idiot people. A lot of them are very dumb. But the whole concept here is, even one time when I was in Trenton, New Jersey, and the guy was like, well, you know, we got Jewish rabbis that come to the prison. And it startled me because you'd never think that they would have a Jewish population in the prison period when we talk about white Jews. But that's how you can take a doggone people and make this mythology of them, you see what I'm saying, that's not even realistic. You see, but they had that much Jews, so-called, they were white people. They gotta commit crimes. You know what I'm saying? But this is the mentality that they do. But going again, this is a great war right now, you best believe. That behind this whole thing, when it comes to you, it's got a secret society of Jews say that we must keep them down at all times. And now it's going on down too. You see, as we get closer and closer into this thing, that in so many words, it's a battle to be the doggone chosen people. But it's just, I'm sorry, we are the doggone people. And the way this thing is going down now, it's actually funny. Because you don't even have to prepare for Armageddon. You just sit back and make it laugh because it's going to go down just the funniest way that nobody will even imagine. The way this thing is getting ready to go down. And this is very interesting. So I want to post some on libation, and then we'll go for libations, and then we'll go into other discussion of stuff and all. Yeah, I got to.
Bobby, before you do that, I want to say something.
Go ahead.
Something I forgot to say. First of all, any cell phones and pages that make noise, please turn those off. And for those of you who have children, If your children start to cry and act up, please excuse yourself outside. This case goes on all over the country. If people call and complain about they can't hear because the child's crying, this is not nothing against your children, but I'm pretty sure you all understand what we're trying to do here. Okay? Thank you.
Yeah, okay, so there's poll libations and we'll keep on going. Like I said now, it was interesting because I was coming down a little cold and I had to jump on these two sisters last night. That's why this is halfway empty and stuff. And like I said, this is a cure-all for anything from AIDS to anything is these two sisters. I talked about that last night. And it's actually three sisters because one came to me and said, hey man, because the old teacher said, I'm fire and I just burn down things. Well, they call this fire water, so it's three sisters, Otincha, Shayola, Shumala, and Omagunu. Shumala and Omagunu. No, excuse me. Three sisters, Otincha, Shayola, and Tiacha. I'm going to put that right. Otincha, Shayola, and Tiacha. That's three sisters and all, because the fire behind this is that. And basically, like I said before, this is, you mix two aspects from different continents. You mix Canadian whiskey and London dry gin. Canadian whiskey and London dry gin. This has nothing to do if you don't drink. This is spiritual. This has nothing to do with you and your little vegetarian bullshit. It ain't got you no more close to the goddamn godhood. So it ain't got nothing to do with that. Oh, I don't drink. Well, big fucking deal. You don't give a shit about your pride because you don't drink, because you're just trying to be the best fucking Hebrew Christian asshole or whatever you're trying to be. We talking about you, whenever you spit this rum, when you spit this rum to these gods, the same gods that you figure that you don't want to drink from, same guys that you figure you don't want to drink, you require to spit this rum. Even if you go to the Pope, they spit some kind of alcohol with wine or whatever. You see what I'm saying? With wine or whatever, they spit some type of alcohol. So this has nothing to do with you taking pride because you don't indulge. That is European, Roman, political movement to keep the indigenous people from their magical systems of enlightenment. You see what I'm saying? Yet, they do all of that. You see what I'm saying? Yet, they do all of that. You see, so, this is London dry gin, and Northern Lights Canadian whiskey, Windsor's Canadian whiskey. You can either do this, three kinds of, well, just any kind of Canadian whiskey. Canadian whiskey and London dry gin. I suggest anyone but Tanqueray because the content is so high in Tanqueray so you don't get rid of the taste. So you take this, you mix half of one bottle into the other bottle. And then this, what happens is, the Canadian whiskey makes a sweet taste and it brings down the alcohol to pH balance, whereas you can drink this as soon as you sit behind the doggone car steering wheel, basically you won't even be drunk. Now, like I said, this was brought by just piggyback on what I talked about yesterday, this was brought by two spirits from the outer world. Now, you have what is called Universe A, and what you have is Universe B. You'll see some of that in the Fred Allen Wolf's book also, Parallel Universe by Fred Allen Wolf. And it's separated by a black hole, Universe A and Universe B. Now, Universe B, it consists of some outer gods that existed prior to creation that got locked out of the whole creative world or the world of formation or the world of creation. And they got, and also, these are called outer gods. And in March of this year, because we got a black hole that's been in space for quite some time, this is an astronomy magazine, Face to Face with the Black Hole. With the black hole in this particular universe. This is October 2001 astronomy magazine. And I think you could either write the publisher, and they could even send you some too. But it's called Sagittarius A is the name of the actual black hole. Because of that black hole opening in May, around May, because of the Earth slipping through this particular black hole, going dead into this black hole on May the 21st of this year. That particular black hole has been in existence for a while. But there were some entities or spirit guys that came from the other side. Tiacha, Sheola, Otincha, Shumala, Omagumu, Kakumbo, and Lokeo, about 6 of them. And they are extensions of those Congo right gods we call Palo Menombe. Now that's Tiacha, which is a healing feminine spirit.
How do you spell it?
Tiacha, just spell it the best way you can. Spell it like you're going to spell it anywhere. Tiacha, real simple shit. I didn't say bubonic plague. Tiacha, Sheola, that's like Crayola, Sheola. Tiacha, Sheola, Otincha, Omagumu, Shumala, Kakumbo, and Lokeo. Now, Tiacha and Sheola are healing spirits, feminine mother spirits, and nurses. Otincha is a fire spirit. She's a fire spirit. So she also told me last night, call my name, nigga, when you're going to get this shit out again. So she told me that last night. It's a fire spirit. Omagumu sets over a legion of spirits. You saw it in the movie The Mummy Returns. You see all those Anubis warriors. That's what Omagumu sets over. These thousands of warriors. Shumala is a warrior himself. Lokeo is this promiscuous spirit I'm picking up. You know what I'm saying? Promiscuous spirit and all, you know. And Kakumbo is this straight up cosmic hope. Or whatever the deal is. That's all he does. He does the Osirian, Shiva, Dionysus thing. He just screws. So these are different attributes and stuff, so in so many words. You know, you want to rise to the occasion, call on Kakumbo. You want to feel horny, call on Lokeo. You see what I'm saying? You know, so the 3 sisters, Sheola, Tiacha, and Otincha. And Otincha is the fire, so she's like a Kundalini spirit. Which in so many words, we'll get into a few minutes when you go see the movie Queen of the Damned. She was burning people up. That's the Kundalini energy. And there's a reason for all of that. I'm going to give you the reason for the whole movie and a whole lot of other things that went down with that also. So, like I said, Canadian whiskey and London dry gin. You mix both of them together. Now, these mixtures are not European. The Moors taught them how to distill alcohol. And the Scotch, your brandy, your bourbon, and all that came out of the 16 universities in Europe and all that. Basically taught them all this. So basically, this is the Moors. This is African high science. Because whenever you go to any Polero, any Hogan, or any Babalao, which is, you know, the African priest, they got to spit that doggone stuff. So my point here is, if they require it, then what about you? Is it not written in the law that ye are gods? So this, now, when I say this is healing, it's not like a snake oil salesman. Once you combine these 2 energies together, and you consume these energies, and if you have any ailment, then what will happen is that these 3 entities will enter the body and basically heal it. And like I said last night, you get Rudolf Steiner's book, Universe, Earth, and Man by Rudolf Steiner, Cosmic Memory by Rudolf Steiner. And he talks about how the Egyptians, you know, your surgery, and I talked about this last night, your surgery was the last resort, was surgery. Basically, you go there, take a person to the temple, take that person in the temple, put that person on the table, do whatever they have to do to call down to whatever entities they want to operate, and that entity will come in and prepare the body. Well, I've seen these 3 sisters go to work. And I've seen them do stuff within less than 4 or 5 hours. That literally, basically, they can prepare a body, or they can basically do any type of work that you need. So there's no such thing as most people tell you, most yogi masters, most holy people tell you, there's no such thing as incurable. That's just what the white man don't want to cure, because it's going to cost him, because he's not going to be able to make enough money. And then again, on the other hand, he is not the master scientist. He's just basically a patch-up king. You see what I'm saying? It's not even medicine. So basically, we're talking about high science. So a person says, well, do that burn brain cells? I'm like, these are two spirits. So the alcohol is just a gateway for those spirits to enter. And I'm telling you, they dynamite. You know, because like I say, they repaired my gums so good, and I had they repaired my gums so good, it was better than some shit 20 years ago. So we talking about renewing that type of energy. You see, but this is the gateway to do that. Let me post some libations, and then we'll go with that now. We're dealing with the Congo rites, which is this book is called Paulo Menombe, it's called Apollo Menombe. Carlos Gardeno Montenegro is the name of the guy. It's only one thing that deals with the whole Congo rites and stuff. And in so many words, most rituals that you do now, the strongest rituals are the ones that you make up yourself. So a lot of these rituals are advocate in the aspect that they are basically defunct. And half the stuff that they call for these rituals, you can't even get in the Western Hemisphere. What has worked for me here is to call on these entities, and basically whatever comes in your head to do, that is them signaling whatever type of ritual. The problem here is you have to have enough confidence in yourself. You see, you have to have enough confidence in yourself to understand that everyone is a psychic, everyone channels. It's just that you get these things all the time, it's just that we don't have enough confidence in ourselves and we don't believe in it sometimes. But we get signals all the time, and we still wait on people that we are deemed high society or an authority to give us this particular information. But everyone has psychic ability. You see what I'm saying? So basically, at this particular, what you have to do is you have to believe in yourself enough to allow the channel to come through. Now, I will give out one I got to give out, and I'll give out this one right now as a good love ritual. How many sisters need a good love ritual to trap some Negro? We'll give that one out, because it was interesting. I was like, I had a bunch of rituals from the University of Chicago, and I was up in New York, and I said, I got a bunch of rituals from the University of Chicago. So I got a bunch of rituals from the University of Chicago. And you heard them. I said, in that package, there's about 7 love rituals. Man, shoot, every sister got up. They had a line down the doggone hall. So this is I'll give out this one. And the reason why I do that is because, I'm going to some other things, but the Spirit told me that there's 4. There's at least anywhere from 10 million black women who can't find a mate. When you think of all the brothers in prison, all the brothers that automatically just die from a certain aspect of male, the gay aspect, and the white woman rampage just going on. I mean, basically, it's epidemic all across the continental United States. And whatever, anything else they can find, Asians, Eskimos, or whatever, it ain't you they're looking for. So, in that case, sometimes brothers just need an attitude adjustment. So you just basically point them in the right direction. All right. So, and this is and I've had psychics and all this. And man, the number one thing is these sisters. That's what you born for. They born for love. And you know what I'm saying. And down here, really ain't nothing else worthwhile. You know what I'm saying? You say, that's some bullshit, but if you ever had your nose wide open before, you know what the hell I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? If you ever been in love before, you know what I'm talking about. You've never been in love before, you can't imagine. But if you've ever been in love before, it might be crazy, it might be a form of insanity, but it is a trip you want to go on. You understand what I'm saying? Now, for those people who never did it before, I don't know. But I'm just trying to say, if you've ever been on that trip before, you know what I'm saying? And it can very well be, because it is a form of insanity. You see what I'm saying? Because it is chemicals and astronomical and astrological conjunctions going off. Now, this is interesting, because there's a book, which I think is one of the best ones written, is The Science of Love by John Baines. The Science of Love by John Baines. Because that also tells you whether you got an old deranged nigga in your house, you know, somebody that's deranged and just a crazy person that you just thinking, you know, all kinds of things happen. But I want to give out this particular one right here to for attitude adjustment for the Negroes. And the brothers can do this also, because it works both ways. All right, so the brothers can do this also. And basically you get some honey, you get a bottle. A clear bottle with a top on it. This is 120 Shun. You get a clear bottle with a top on it. You know, one sister was I did a lecture last Saturday and Sunday. I did one in Atlanta. And one sister, I was like about to give her sign language. I didn't know whether she could talk or not. And I started doing that damn love ritual. She was like, She just started running off and on. She wanted to get every damn thing straight. I'm like, goddamn, I ain't heard you all day. Oh, you have to do this, you have to do this. But anyway, so you get a clear bottle and you put honey in it. Clear bottle and honey. Now this ritual here gives you an out clause. It gives you a way out. I'll explain what that means in a few minutes. That's in case you put the honey and you got this nigga you just had to have this nigga, and this nigga here is really messed up. You know what I'm saying, or whatever, and, you know, whatever might happen, you know what I'm saying? You know, whatever might happen and all. You know, he's some deranged Negro, and he was like, I gotta get this nigga out of my house and stuff, you know. You know, whatever the deal is, you know. But anyway, this is 20 Shun. O-S-H, what's that, U-N-E? No, what's that? U-N. O-S-H-U-N, Oshun. So you're gonna get a bottle with some honey. Now make sure when you get the bottle with the honey, make sure that the bottle is clear. So take all the paper off or whatever. You know, but make sure it's a screw cap bottle with the honey. Anybody need some paper or something? But anyway, a screw cap bottle with the honey. Okay. Then you want to take a yellow piece of paper about like this. This is a good color. That's a good rich Oshun's color. And you want to write the person's name. You want to write Oshun, so you're going to take a little strip like this. Probably, you know, you're going to get you some scissors.